Good morning and welcome to the Leader Lose Call for Entrepreneurs, my folks, because I am one of those. And we're going to continue the conversation from last time when we are talking about the most important person that you have to lead, and that is yourself. The most important person an entrepreneur will ever have to lead is themselves. So the first area that we discussed from last time is controlling your thoughts. So important that we have to control our thoughts because negative thoughts tend to creep in. And when those negative thoughts creep in, they tend to rest and they grow. And I don't know about you, but a negative thought has never, ever, ever served me. So we have to figure out, or we have to know how to manage those negative thoughts. And the way we do that is we replace those negative thoughts with a positive thought. And we almost have positive thoughts, on the bench, waiting to come into the game. And in which this case, the game is your brain. So the positive thoughts have to be there. They have to be ready. And immediately when you have a negative thought, you have to replace that negative thought with a positive thought. Primarily because with those negative thoughts, somehow, some way, they begin a movie or a story that we just create in our minds. We don't get a phone call back from a customer. And then all of a sudden, we go from, when the negative thought is planted, we go from just not getting a phone call back from a customer to that customer never ever wants to do business with us because we somehow upset the customer, and when we said go to the left, the customer really wanted to go to the right, and how in the world did we do that? And the reason the customer didn't call us back is because it was a power outage or something in their neighborhood. So we have to be able to replace negative thoughts with positive thoughts, pull them off the bench, get them into the game, get them into your brain, and move out those negative thoughts. And I'm reminded of the movie Ali. I don't know if you remember that movie, Ali, but he was in Africa fighting George Foreman, and, he was doing his rope-a-dope thing, but George caught him, and he hit him. And when he hit him, he knocked him into this place that he was familiar with. He knocked him into to this place of La La Land, almost when he was about to be knocked out. And I don't know if you recall, but Ali, a la Will Smith, says to himself, you've been here before. He starts talking to himself. He starts coaching himself out of that negative place that he's in, but he's doing it with his thoughts. And he says, you've been here before. You know what this feels like. Come on, let's go. Shake it off. Shake it off. He easily could have said, oh, my goodness, I knew I was going to get knocked out. This guy's bigger than me. He's stronger than me. He's supposed to win. He's younger than me. But no, he used positive thoughts to kind of coach himself through that situation. So that's what we have to do. We have to replace our negative thoughts with positive thoughts. We have to coach ourselves through situations. Again, we're talking about our thoughts. We're talking about managing our thoughts so that our thoughts help us make good decisions as entrepreneurs because so many people are looking up to us. We are responsible for so many people as entrepreneurs. You're responsible for, your families. You're responsible for employees. You're responsible for ultimately the employees' families, especially, again, you go out, you start a business, and you create this mammoth of a company, and all of these people are looking at you as the leader, and they need you to make good decisions. They need you to go down, a good course and to be a good leader. So the way you think is critical. The way you think is crucial. So replace those negative thoughts with positive thoughts. Bring the positive thoughts off the bench. There is a great book that I suggest that everyone read, and it's called The Four Agreements. And I'm not going to go through all of the agreements, but there are two agreements, and this book is by Don Miguel Ruiz. There are two agreements that point to the way we think. One is don't make assumptions. And the agreement just basically says find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstanding, sadness, and drama. Where do the misunderstandings, the sadness, and the drama comes from when we make assumptions? It comes from our thoughts. Because when we make assumptions, we assume certain things. And when we assume things, we have thoughts or we have decisions or we come to conclusions based on what we think is going to happen or what we think an outcome is going to be, right? So there again, we're thinking, and it's so easy to think negatively than it is positive. I don't get it, but it really is. So we have to be conscious to make sure that we don't make assumptions and we think positive thoughts. And you've heard the saying, we're going to give this situation the benefit of the doubt. Let's give this situation the benefit of the doubt. And again, we're going to sweep in those positive thoughts. So that's one of the agreements that if you make these agreements with yourself, basically the book suggests that you'll live a much better life. But as an entrepreneur, you'll also be a much better leader. Okay. The other one is don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality. So their projection of their own reality belongs to them. It doesn't belong to you, right? So if you take something personally that I said or I did, thinking that, I wake up and my focus is to offend you. My focus is to harm you. My focus is to disrupt your day or disrupt your life. Well, you've taken on, my reality, okay? And my reality belongs to me. It doesn't belong to you. So it is critical that you don't take things personally because there again, if you're taking something personally, you're making assumptions about something I said, about something that I did. Now, it very well could be personal and you deal with it if that is the case. But oftentimes we will take something personally that absolutely had nothing to do with us because we didn't do anything, we didn't say anything, we didn't create a negative situation. So work hard not to take anything personally because, again, that us taking something personally tends to stem from negative thoughts. So, and also pick up the book, The Four Agreements. Really good book. So, when it comes to mindset, particularly for entrepreneurs that are currently working, and how can you be an entrepreneur and you're currently working, say, for someone else or for another company? I was an entrepreneur that was working for someone. At some point in time, I knew I had to not work for someone because that drive, that pull inside of me was so great that at some point in time, I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur. That started with a thought. That started with how I felt about working for someone and helping someone else, build their dream. But what was really key was how I thought about working for someone and how I thought about being an entrepreneur. So there's an employee mindset that we have. There are things that we think or thoughts that we have as an employee versus thoughts that we have as an entrepreneur. And I want to help the folks that are currently working for someone. You're currently an employee, and at some point in time, you will be an entrepreneur. And I want to save you a whole lot of time, energy, and effort because I had to make that mindset shift. My thoughts had to change from that of an employee to an entrepreneur, and my road was a little bumpier because I didn't do one thing. If you are currently working for someone and you know that you're going to be an entrepreneur, treat your department, your area of responsibility like it's your business right now. So if you're in marketing, if you're in distribution, if you're in the mailroom, whatever your responsibility is within that company, I want you to own it. I want you to treat it like it's yours, and I want you to run it like it's yours. I want you to be innovative. I want you to be creative. The people that you work with, even if they're not your employees and they're not direct reports to you, I want you to begin to do some of the things that we talk about when it comes to being an effective leader. I want you to treat it like it's yours. And so the transition from a mindset standpoint will be much easier for you when you do make the leap and you decide to leave your employer or you stop becoming an employee and start becoming an entrepreneur. So treat it like it's yours. Own it. I never did that. I worked in the banking industry. It was very straightforward. We were little soldiers, and we had our marching orders, and I carried out our marching orders, and I did that really, really well. But I didn't treat it like it was mine. I never ever owned the responsibilities that I had. I just saw myself as a soldier carrying out orders, and we're going to get what we're supposed to do done, and that was it. So you have the opportunity to treat it like it's yours. Okay. Now I just want to spend some time talking about the differences between an entrepreneur and a leader, because as entrepreneurs, we see things that many people don't see, right? We see opportunities. We provide solutions. We solve problems for people. That's what we do as entrepreneurs. And oftentimes people think because you're an entrepreneur, because you have that vision, because you can see things, because you solve problems, you are a leader. Well, you're not a leader automatically. Okay? So what you have to be able to do is you have to be able to know the difference between, being an entrepreneur and being a leader. So we're going to spend some time really quickly covering the different aspects of being an entrepreneur versus being a leader. So entrepreneurs tend to have a lot of energy. You're like Speedy Gonzalez. You're bouncing off of everything. You're 100 miles an hour. You have a lot of energy. A leader has calm energy, especially during times of turmoil. And there's often opportunity in turmoil, and you won't see the opportunity if you are going 100 miles an hour and all of that energy is just full boat on one speed in one direction. A leader has energy, but the energy is calm because they need to be able to lead in not so good situations. They need to be able to listen, and they need to be able to discern things. An entrepreneur tends to, for whatever reason, have poor listening skills because they tend to listen to defend their product, their service, their creation, their invention. They're listening to, because they already know, the entrepreneur already knows what direction they want to go in most oftentimes. So entrepreneurs tend to have poor listening skills. As a leader, you have to have great listening skills. Again, you have to listen to understand. And when you listen to understand, that will help you make better decisions. That will help you lead those that follow you a lot better. Entrepreneurs tend to be poor teachers because, again, entrepreneurs don't have time to teach. I have this dream, I have this vision, I have to pour my high, fast-paced energy into it, and we learn as we go. And entrepreneurs, again, tend to be poor teachers. A leader is a great teacher. A leader will take that calm energy, will slow down to teach because they understand that transferring knowledge to someone at some point will help duplicate themselves and create other entrepreneurs or create other leaders, and that's when they'll see exponential growth. Okay? So it's really important to make sure that you slow down and you become a better teacher. Because entrepreneurs tend to, we don't have time to teach someone. Entrepreneurs are constant risk takers, which is good because if you don't shoot the ball will not go in the basket. So you have to shoot the ball. Constant risk takers. However, a good leader takes risk at the right time. They look at the situation, they survey that situation, and then they will take the necessary risk. So leaders don't avoid risk, but they just take the risk at the right time. And at some point in the future, we're going to talk about the law of timing, which talks about doing certain actions during certain times. And one of them says that if we do the right thing at the wrong time, we'll create dissension in the camp, or we'll create frustrated people. We'll have frustrated customers. We'll have frustrated employees if we do the right thing at the wrong time. And we'll talk more about that a little bit later. And lastly, entrepreneurs tend to have control issues, which means they're not good delegators. Leaders are excellent delegators. They understand why not to have control issues. They understand they'll get more done and more accomplished if they do what? If they delegate certain things. I work with entrepreneurs all the time, and it's amazing how they just want to hold on to certain things within their organization. You as an entrepreneur, let's put a price tag on your time. Let's say you're worth about $500 an hour, right? So would you hire someone and pay them $500 an hour to lick stamps? No, you wouldn't, or you shouldn't. So, let's find some kids to do that. Let's find some interns to do that. But let's not spend your time doing that when that's something that can be delegated. Okay? Entrepreneurs start companies, leaders grow them. Entrepreneurs will start things, but leaders will take them, build them, and grow them. It's great that you're an entrepreneur, but it will be even better when you become an effective leader. Time flies when you're having fun. Thank you for joining the call. The call was sponsored by ShareNote.com, which is an electronic health record system specifically for the behavioral health care industry. If you have questions, tweet those questions to @RoderickL Brown. Use the hashtag LeaderLose, and that's @Roderick, RODERICKLBROWN. Again, hashtag LeaderLose. Thank you. I send you blessings. Have a wonderful day.